Good morning, y'all. Uh, today, today is a very special day for me. I have been waiting on this recipe for almost 40 years. I have not had this pie in 40 years. This is my grandmother's butternut squash pie recipe. Uh, I've I have asked for it over probably the last 25 years, and I thought it was lost forever. I thought I was never going to get it. I had done a lot of research online, and 99% of the butternut squash pie recipes I found, I knew as soon as I saw the actual pie that they had made it exactly like a pumpkin pie, and I knew that was not what I was looking for. Uh, Unfortunately, I'm not a fan of pumpkin anything, and but my grandmother, she baked both pumpkin and squash pies, and she made them completely different. So this today will be my grandmother's, I'd say it's at least a 70-year-old recipe. Um, and I don't even know where she got it from, so it's probably much older than that. So here we go. You need, okay, so the recipe, I got a screenshot of the actual recipe. And my mother had written it down from her cousin, who it turns out that my grandmother actually gave her recipe card to many years ago. So the recipe is written down for 2 pies, and it shows 1 cup of butternut squash between the 2 pies. I found that really hard to believe. So when I went to the grocery store a couple of days ago, all they had left was 2 little tiny butternut squashes. I got them both. I boiled them up. And obviously I didn't get a whole lot of butternut squash out of those, and they told me they would not have any more until like August 10th. So this is almost a whole cup. So what I did was I made sure I have a half cup left. So if for any reason this does not work, I'm going to go back and make it just like the recipe said and only use a half cup. So this is almost a full cup. Puree, by the way, you need to boil it. Now, I clearly remember my grandmother boiling her squash on the stove. I can still picture the giant pot in the back with usually 2 huge butternut squashes boiling away. I remember that part. Don't remember anything else. But again, we're talking I was about 10 years old. So again, that is 1 cup pureed. You need to boil it. It takes, I'm going to say about 45 minutes is how long it took me. You need to let it sit out and air dry to make sure all the water gets out of it. Then peel it out of the scoop it with a spoon or peel the skin off of it. It comes right off. But you need to let it cool all the way down. So 3/4 cup. Oh, and then you need to put it in a food processor or use a hand mixer and puree this. That recipe also called for 2 whole cups of sugar. And again, that's for 2 pies, and I just can't make myself put a whole cup of sugar in this. So we're going to do 3/4 cup. That's a half cup. That's a 1/4 cup. You need 1 tablespoon of all-purpose flour. Now this flour is very important to get mixed in. You need half a stick melted butter. Now this is melted, but it's it's cooled. It's not hot. We're adding egg in here, so you want to make sure your melted butter is room temp if possible, or whisk your egg in first maybe. The recipe card said 2/3 cup of milk, so that means we need 1/3 cup of milk for 1 pie. It called for 2 eggs, so we need 1 egg. It called for 1 teaspoon of vanilla. So we're obviously going to use a half teaspoon. And that's it. I'm just going to use a whisk since I already have this butternut squash pureed up. My main concern is making sure that flour is completely incorporated. All right, I won't make y'all watch this. Here's our pie plate, our crust. That looks pretty well whisked in. I don't see any clumps of flour. So here we go, y'all. Oh, gosh. I'm so excited for this, y'all. Imagine waiting 40 years to taste your favorite pie again. My grandmother knew how much I love this pie. And I'm just going to be honest with y'all, I don't like squash. I don't eat squash in any capacity. Haven't had squash in 40 years. This will be the first time. So I feel like I need to shake it a little bit, make sure those bubbles are out. My main concern about me lowering the sugar is that it's possible that that recipe was exactly that way for a reason, you know, like maybe it's got to have that much sugar to do right. So I want those bubbles to go away. I don't think they should be there, but that's all right. I don't, if it's got bubbles, as long as it tastes like my mom's squash pie, I'm happy. So I'm messing with things. Her recipe card says 325 Fahrenheit. That's 160 Celsius for 45 minutes. I'm doing 375 for as long as I possibly can. If I see that my crust is starting to get too brown, I might lower the temp then. We'll see what happens. So this is going in 375. The plan is for 45 minutes. But again, we'll see what happens. Fingers crossed, y'all. Okay, y'all. Our pie is done. It definitely looks right. So here's what I ended up doing. I put it into a 375 Fahrenheit oven for 30 minutes. I turned it down to 325 and left it another 30 minutes. So it cooked 1 hour. That definitely is set. It looks just like my memaw's pie. But unfortunately, it's got to now sit here for 2 hours and cool all the way off before I can touch it. Well, I'm just going to have to keep busy for 2 hours because I cannot wait to dig into this pie. I'll be back in 2 hours. Here we go, y'all. Oh, gosh. If I can hold it together and not cry. Definitely looks like my grandmother's squash pie. I'm just, I've been waiting on this a very long time. I'm in shock. I really didn't think I would ever get to have it again before I passed away. Oh my God. That's it. That's my maddamsel squash pie. I can't believe it. This is so good. One thing I forgot to tell y'all, add a pinch of salt. I forgot, and it's fine. I don't, at this point, I really don't care, but it does need a pinch of salt. That's in the recipe. Mm. Absolutely 100% does not taste anything like a pumpkin pie. Now, the way my grandmother would serve this is, you know, she kept it in the refrigerator, obviously, covered in tin foil. And she would put this in a little, she had this little toaster oven with a little door that opened up, you know, and had like one little rack. And she would put our slices in there for just a minute or two. And then she put a big dollop of whipped cream on top. And, oh, that will be my next piece. Mm. You gotta try this. Easy peasy to make. Now, I don't understand about the cooking time being different. But I did try to make it the day before, and it just did not set. So I cranked it up to 375 Fahrenheit. I left it another 30 minutes, and it set just fine. But I was worried. I didn't want to post that video because I just wasn't sure. I didn't want things, you know, for something to go wrong. So anyway, I redid the pie today, and I just automatically put it on 375 and left it for 30 minutes, turned it down to 325, and left it another 30 minutes. And it's absolutely perfect. Mm. I will make this for the rest of my life. Y'all give this one a try. Butternut squash pie. Thank you for watching.